Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Contract and Business Deals, Federal Government Edition, hosted by Global Works Consulting Group and yours truly, Erin Porche, your business consultant catalyst. I am so excited to come before you all today and share this information about how you can get your inheritance by way of federal government contracting. We know that the federal government is the largest company in the world and they have lucrative deals that are available to you with the current services that you already offer in your business. So, we want to make sure that we equip you with the information and the tools and the resources so that you can procure federal government contracts in your company in 2021. Again, I am Erin Porche, founder and CEO of Global Works Consulting Group. And the goal of this boot camp is to equip and provide you with information on how to build relationships, how to leverage current partnerships, and also talk about the mindset of doing business with the federal government. The second goal is to provide you with the key components to lay a solid foundation for your company to do business with the federal government. As your dynamic facilitator, I am a lover of Jesus, a mother of people, a servant at heart, and I have vested over 15 years in the federal, state, local, and regional government areas. I'm an advocate for life and business mastery, and I build empires in kingdom territory. I love to work with leaders on all levels, and I love to travel, dance, and will try just about anything once. So, my company is Global Works Consulting Group. And we exist because we want to provide small business owners with access to win and maintain federal government contracts in 2021. We are on a quest to reach 1,000 small business owners, and we believe that you can get your inheritance by way of federal government contracts. And we are going to show you how you can do just that in 2021 in no time. We are committed to showing you the ropes and helping you to navigate this new space of government contracting, this new space of growing and expanding your company. We know that you have been in business and you are currently working and operating your business. You currently have clients that you serve. So, with that, adding federal government contracting to your portfolio is a new layer, another level of effort. And we understand that getting started requires an investment of your time, an investment of your resources. And we want to ensure that you are able to get into this space, get your company set up on a solid foundation. And when you win the contract, you are able to be successful and perform. So, with that being said, Global Works Consulting Group was founded in 2009. And literally, I started off in the federal government writing resumes and KSAs, knowledge, skills, and abilities for government employees and those that were interested in federal government work. When I learned about the federal government and I started as an employee, I wanted everybody to know about working for the federal government. Everything was great. The benefits were great. The people were great. The opportunities were limitless, right? And then I started helping people to start their business and provide coaching. And now, at this point in my company, we offer digital transformation, program management, federal government contract support and services, organizational development, change management, and also operational modernization. We love, love, love to support small business owners with strategy, with execution, with business analysis, with also building dynamic teams, and expert facilitation and training. And we want to make sure that you have all of the information that you need to execute and be successful in this space. So, if you registered for this boot camp, you should have received a guide that says, "Congratulations, let's procure these contracts and business deals." We want you to comb through that guide and make sure that you reference that guide, because there are some key links, some key informations, and key action items that we want you to take so that you can build the momentum. We want you to gain the keys to win, right? Federal government contracting can be very lucrative as securing 6 and 7 figure contracts. So, in this bootcamp, we have an agreement that we want you to commit to, right? We're already talking about securing deals, we're talking about contracts. Well, we create agreements for all that we do. And in the bootcamp, we want you to open your mind, we want you to breathe. Breathe. And we want you to take note of all questions that come to mind. Drop your questions in the comments, right? Ask questions. That's the only way you are going to get answers. It's the only way you're going to grow. And it's the only way you're going to get unstuck and be able to propel and launch forward. So ask questions and actively engage. We invite you to engage, network, and connect with other people that are in the room. So let's dive right into it. In all that I do, I believe that mindset is the foundation of everything that we do. It drives how we breathe, it drives how we live, it drives how we respond, it drives how we show up in our business, how we show up in our relationships and partnerships. Mindset is everything. And knowing that there are mindset blockers that could possibly exist helps us to press through and get to the other side of a positive growth mindset. Mindset blockers, when I work with small business owners, I can recognize mindset blockers in a matter of 3 minutes in our conversation. And it has nothing to do with being judgmental. It's basically intentively listening to where you are and being able to gauge how to unlock those limitations so that you can move forward, so that you can go onward and upward. So I like to share in my boot camp the top mindset blocks that I see small business owners experience in life and business. And the first one is not trusting yourself. Most of the time, we have experiences in life that are great wins, that are victorious, that are successful. And then there are times where we have experiences where we were knocked down, it impacted our confidence, and we had some great lessons, right? I always say that there's blessings and there's lessons. And with those unfortunate situations that may look very unfortunate at the time, it changes something within us, right? And it makes us look at ourselves differently, right? So those experiences can oftentimes create a sense of not trusting ourselves to try it again, to do it again, to show up in that capacity, to show up in that place, to connect with those people. And I want to crush that right here and right now because, again, as I said earlier, in life, there are lessons and there are blessings. And truly, everything that you were created to be, it is already within you. Those things that come to mind, those dreams, those aspirations, those hopes, they're not too big. They are a part of your destiny, right? So we want you to pursue it. We want you to forgive yourself, love on yourself, give yourself grace, and move forward. Move forward, even if you're scared. Allow yourself to jump, allow yourself to do things differently and show up in different places, in different spaces, because you need to move forward. We may not always have all of the answers, but it's important that you learn to give yourself grace and trust yourself, because truly at the end of the day, those things that cross your mind, they're there for a reason, and it's there for you to take action. So every day, practice following through with the smallest task and the smallest activities, and rebuilding trust in yourself, and celebrate those things. Celebrate those things, because guess what? You did it, and you can trust yourself again. So, anytime you have an experience where your confidence is impacted and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that, I didn't do that well, etc., and so on, guess what? Try it again. Try it again and trust yourself to know that, guess what? The outcome that you had the first time will be different than the outcome you have this time around, because you learned a lesson and you know how to go about that situation in a different angle. So trust yourself. Number two, the other mindset blocker that people experience is not visualizing what life with a lot more money looks like. Visualization. Visualization is so cool. Visualization is actually mind blowing if you take the time to put yourself in a place or a space that you aspire to be. Visualization helps you to see yourself already walking in the beach on the sand, already traveling internationally, already wealthy, doing things totally different from what anyone has seen in your family, and living a life of freedom, doing things on your own terms. I believe that it's so important that we take time to visualize where it is that we want to be, because guess what? You can have that. You can be there. You can get there. If you see it and believe it, it can be so. So, at times, you may just need to close your eyes and see it and feel it and create the life that you desire. Create the life that you desire. Visualize it. I admonish you to visualize. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And you will get there. Do the work. The third mindset blocker that we experience is our family's money story and losing a sense of belonging after success. Oftentimes, what we know is that we don't choose our family. We're born into a family. And oftentimes, our family money story, it could be a beautiful thing. Our family could be rich. Our family can have land. Our family can have, resources, businesses that you can get your inheritance. And then there are other circumstances where our family money story is humble beginnings. Some were poor. Some, basically were enslaved. And with that, we had to do things differently. We had to take a different path from others. And with that family money story, it created a fight in us. It created a drive in us to show up and do things differently, to show up in different places, and to drive hard so that we can change the narrative for our family money story. Our family money story is what it is. And guess what? We have an opportunity to change that money story. We have an opportunity to increase and enhance and expand that family money story. And it's up to us to decide that we're going to do just that, right? So, with that being said, our family money story is what it is. It is what it is. And with what it is, you have an opportunity to take that family money story to the next level. So, never be ashamed of what your family money story is. Because guess what? Because you are in this space where you are positioning your company to procure federal government contracts, guess what? You about to change the game for you, your family, and everybody associated with your company that you employ, because those contracts are lucrative and you will be able to be paid well, eat well, and live the life that you desire. I want you to know that family money story is what it is, and you have an opportunity to not only leave a legacy, but you have an opportunity to live a legacy. So I'm going to go right on to the fourth one. The fourth one is feeling unsafe to show up and be seen. Feeling unsafe to show up and be seen. What does that mean? Oftentimes, again, we have some great experiences and then we have some not so great experiences. And sometimes those not so great experiences create a sense of insecurity, a sense of not being safe, a sense where we don't trust, and a sense where we want to just hide. We don't want to be seen. We don't want to be on the map. We don't want anybody to know us, anything like that, right? So that means you feel unsafe. And guess what? It's natural. It's your natural nature to feel such a way. And it is okay. It's okay. I want you to know that it is okay. But it's not okay to stay there. So we want you to rewire what we call your survival mechanisms into feeling safe. And that takes time. It takes intentional effort, but it can be done. You are in control of your environment. And if the environment is not conducive to your safety, then maybe we need to change that environment. So make sure that you are positioning yourself and your family to feel safe and show up and be seen just as you are, because you're golden, you are amazing, and you are who you are. And I'm so glad you chose to invest in yourself. and position yourself to get federal government contracts, because guess what? It's up from here. Number 5, lack of self-confidence. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but what we know is that confidence is necessary. If we're not confident in ourselves, there's no way anyone else will be confident in us. So it matters how we show up. It matters. Your confidence can be seen, and when you are not confident, it can be seen, it can be heard. So it's so important that we work on our self-confidence and show up, walking in authority, knowing that we own it, knowing that we got this, knowing that I am what God says that I am. Trusting that you own it, trusting yourself to just be. Self-confidence is so important. So we want to crush that mindset blocker of lack of self-confidence. Get your confidence back. It's yours. If anyone did anything to rob you of your confidence or take your confidence away, take your confidence back, because it's yours. It belongs to you. And you need it. It's necessary for you. Okay, the other is fear of failure, and I'll combine fear of success. True enough, we know that fear is real, fear is valid. Fear speaks volume. Fear is an alert, it's an alarm to say, okay, this is something unfamiliar. Apply gas or bow out. But you got to make a choice. And guess what? Fear loses. You can cancel and crush fear in an instant by launching forward, by weighing your options and deciding. That's how you cancel fear. When you decide, you don't have to sabotage your success with fear. You don't want to do that. You want to be confident and you want to move forward and you want to crush fear right at the head. You're going to nip fear in the bud. Fear has no place. You have no time for fear. Weigh your options and decide and make your move. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I use fear as warning signs and information. Fear basically says, okay, let's do some research. Let's get some more information. There's some uncertainty there. But don't let fear stop you, ever. Don't let fear stop you from being successful. Did you all realize that people actually fear not only failure, but people fear success? It's like we have these amazing dreams, we have all of these goals, and we fear success. It's like when that time comes around, when that thing that we prayed for or asked for and worked for comes around, it's like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. I don't know what to do. What do you mean? You've done the work to get there. You've done the work to get there. Yes, you do know what to do. Trust yourself, rebuild your confidence, and jump. That's all I have. That is the mindset segment for contracts and business deals. We want you to ensure that you identify those limiting beliefs and those mindset blockers so that you can unlock whatever's holding you back and move forward. Fear has no place. Your family money story is what it is. Find a place of safety and trust yourself. And most importantly, visualize where it is that you want to go. Visualize yourself procuring that federal government contract and hiring 5 people. Visualize yourself with a multi-million dollar contract for 6 years. It can be yours. You can have it. And that concludes the mindset segment for contracts and business deals. All right. So now we go into the meat and the potatoes. Let's talk about some facts about federal government contracts. When we think about the U.S. government, they are the largest company in the world. The U.S. government is the largest company in the world. Did you know that? Yes, it is. Approximately 1 billion new opportunities in the service sector of the government were contracts. 1 billion new opportunities per year. You think you can have one of those 1 billion? You think that you could be in that number? You think your company can be one of those billion opportunities that you bid and win? The federal government signs over 11 million contracts a year. The federal government signs over 11 million contracts a year. Yes, I had to say that twice because I want you to catch that. I want you to hear that the federal government signs for the third time over 11 million contracts per year. Yeah, it's certainly time to get in position and be one of those 11 million, right? This year. And oftentimes I'm asked, what does the federal government buy? We talk about the federal government does all of these contracts throughout the year. Well, what do they buy? Well, my initial answer is always everything. I always say everything because literally they buy everything. There is the North American Industry Classification System, which breaks out the different industries and those codes as to how the federal government purchases services. And they're grouped by industry. So the industries include agriculture and forestry, fishing and hunting, mining, oil, gas, utilities, construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, real estate, rental and leasing, healthcare, social assistance, arts, writing, spoken word, entertainment, recreation, professional, scientific, and technical services, management of companies and enterprises, accommodation and food services, administration and support, and waste management and remediation services, educational services, public administration, finance and insurance. You name it, the federal government buys it. I can go on. Information technology, media relations, hauling and dumping, porta-johns, landscaping, janitorial services, office supplies and stationery, office furniture, interior design, y'all, paving, career coaching. The federal government leaders need career coaching, marketing, graphic design, leadership coaching, tutoring, catering, strategic planning, after school care programs. Do I need to say more? Okay, yes, sure. Marketing, public relations, public opinion surveys, bulk mailing, Y'all, the federal government buys social service programs. Okay, they buy everything. Everything that you can think of, the federal government buys. And that does not cover the list of products that the federal government buys. The federal government buys paper clips. Okay, if you have a manufacturer, if you have a supplier, and you position your company to get on a schedule to sell a product to the federal government, listen, that's a major stream of income. You just facilitate and coordinate. Listen, there's a million ways to get it. I want y'all to choose a couple. So let's talk about, now that we know what the federal government buys, what do you need to do business with the federal government? There are some core things that you want to have in place for your company. And when we think about business foundations, when we think about the infrastructure of your company, you want to have a legal registered company. You want to have a business bank account, an EIN number. You want to have a mailing address or a physical mailing address. You want to have proof of citizenship, a list of your past performance, your projects, the work that you've done, what your expertise are, those things that you are competent in. You want to have a P&L, a profit and loss statement. And you want to have good status with the federal government. What do I mean by good status with the federal government? You don't want to have any felonies, right? You don't want to have any debt with the federal government. And if you do have debt, you want to have it in good standing. Meaning if you have student loans, you have it in good standing. You're either paying on them or it's in forbearance. That is totally acceptable. Very, very common. But you don't want to owe the IRS money and be in a bad status with that. So you want to make sure that you take care of your taxes and that you set up payment arrangements for anything that is outstanding. That's totally fine. Very, very common. And in addition to some of those things you want to have in place, along with your EIN number and your business bank account, there are some key places you want to register your company. You want to make sure that you have a DUNS number. A DUNS number is a data universal numbering system. It's the Dun and Bradstreet for your business. Basically, you can use this number to get registered in the System for Award Management, which is now beta.sam.gov. You can also use this number to build your business credit, but it starts with having a registered company with your state and local county, then getting your EIN number, then getting your business bank account, then getting your DUNS number, then registering your account with System for Award Management, SAM, beta.sam.gov. Those are the core things for business foundations to do business with the federal government. Now that we've talked about what the federal government buys, what do you need to have in place to do business with the federal government? Let's talk about those local resources. Those local resources that are free and available to you in your local area. Nationwide, SBA provides centers to support small business owners to procure government contracts. And those centers include Women's Business Center. There's also a Small Business Development Centers, the SBDC. And there's also the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, those PTACs. Those Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, PTACs, are available. And you can find your PTAC or your Small Business Development Center by visiting sba.gov. There on sba.gov site, you put in your zip code and you will be able to find the location that is closest to you. There's also Chamber of Commerce and Urban League for some states. All of these are free resources that are available to you to support you and provide you with those things you need to have in place to do business with the federal government. So I admonish you to get your company registered and connect with them to leverage some of their services. Now, I can say that the footprint and the availability for the different offices, they do have limited capacity on who they can help, how much support they can provide, etc., and so on. But I can tell you that they are a really good resource, especially for the training that they provide, the do it yourself type training. You can get that training as well as your staff, your employees can be in on the training that is available through the local SBDC, the Small Business Development Centers, as well as the PTech facilities. So, yes, make sure you check those out. So, I'll also share the keys to success in the industry. We want you to do your research, do your homework, and make sure that you foster relationships, evaluate situations, get information, ask questions, and take action. Take action, take action, take action. And let me tell you, repetition is kind. Repetition is kind. Repetition can be your friend. So if you have this on replay, play it again. You will learn something new every time and you will process more information that can benefit you in your journey to procuring federal government contracts. So I want to pause for a moment and I want you to think about some takeaways, some key takeaways from the information that we just talked about and shared. I think that, taking a pause, processing and digesting the information is always beneficial. We talked about the mindset of doing business with the federal government. We talked about what the federal government buys. We talked about how much they buy. We also talked about business infrastructure, those things you want to have in place for your company. We talked about key systems that you want to register your company. We also shared information about local resources that are available to you. And I want you to take some notes on those things that we talked about. Anything that stands out to you, share it in the comments, send us an email, post a comment from the replay on our LinkedIn or in our Facebook group. Let us know your thoughts about what are some of your key takeaways thus far from the bootcamp. Write it down and share it with us later. We'd love to hear your feedback. So, as we proceed into this conversation and getting information about federal government contracts, we want to talk a little bit more about leveraging relationships and partnerships, how to position your company to show up and win, and how to marketing methods to the federal government. As I mentioned earlier, I am a former federal government contractor. I'm sorry, a former federal government employee and a current federal government contractor. I used to chase disasters for a living, literally in emergency management, and I really enjoyed it. I served as a contracting officer, technical representative, which then was a COTAR, now is known as a core contracting office representative, and I was inspired by people that I work with in the federal government to become a federal government contractor. Over my time with the federal government, I worked across more than 75 federal government agencies, coordinating information and resources, building relationships, work with so many people, know so many people in so many different states and in so many different departments. And we keep in touch. It's a beautiful thing. It's so cool. I started this journey when I was 21. So relationships are long, and we've always kept in touch. But what inspired me the most to host the training and share the information that I provide today is there was this couple, and this couple, they worked for the federal government as what they called reservists back then. They were reservists, and they told me one day that, hey, Erin, we work 6 months out of the year and we travel the other 6 months. And I was like, wow, Miss Madeline, how do you all do that? She said, well, Erin, we're on our second retirement. The federal government pays us per diem, so they pay for where we stay and they pay for our food. And at the same time, they pay us a healthy check every month. It was a couple. And when I heard that, I said, I want to do that when I grow up. They talked about how they collected points and so many other things. But, as a federal government employee, I managed contracts, I managed contractors as well, and oversaw different projects. And, I saw the opportunity, just as I saw the opportunity to get people federal government jobs, I saw the opportunity to help people become federal government contractors, which is why I sit here before you today to share the information about contracts and business deals, how to procure federal government contracts for your business with the services that you already offer. So, I'm pulling from firsthand experience, you all. And it's just a beautiful thing to be able to just draw from what's already within. And of course, I keep my ear to the ground because we know federal government contracting industry is constantly changing. Um, and I also meet with the federal government agencies, small business departments, so that we stay in the game and stay informed about what the demands are, so that we can connect you to those resources, so that we can connect you to those opportunities that will best benefit your company where you are with the services that you offer. So, as we move on into the second segment, we're going to talk about what's your marketing style? What's up in your marketing world? What's your marketing method? Listen, what is your market? Think about that. What's up in your marketing world? I sent out a survey along with your registration for you to take a quiz and get an understanding of what your marketing style is. Take a look at that quiz. Read through it. You just might learn something about yourself. And had a nice little story about my experience when I switched over from federal government to getting online and being on social media. And I tell you, it was a journey. It was something to experience and adjust to. And here I am now. So, from someone who had a high security clearance with the federal government, that was a total mute, doing things underground and just not sharing or talking about much, to showing up the way that I do today. It took some time, it took a journey, but I am so grateful to be where I am today and to be able to share this information with you all and help you transition and navigate in the federal government contracting space and market to the government. confidently. Confidently. That confidence, it is unnecessary. Yes. So, marketing methods to the federal government. What does that mean? When you think about marketing to the government, it generally means selling to the government. Just that, plain and simple. You're selling your services to the federal government, just as they are. The federal government is always pretty clear on what they're looking for, and they are pretty specific in those contract requirements. They leave little room for guesswork, except for when you show up to the project and, things happen. But certainly, for the most part, the federal government is pretty specific on what their requirements are for those contracts. And you can pretty much identify if you qualify to fulfill the need or the requirements of the contract. So, some of the objectives for this segment is to identify the opportunities in the market to the federal government and market your product or services to the federal government. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight. So, preparing to market to the government, some questions you may want to ask yourself is, how does selling to the government fit in your overall business strategy? What are your core competencies? What agencies need what you provide? What sets you apart from the competition? Are you willing and able to devote resources to win the government's business? What is your output? What is your output? Think about that for a second. What is your output? What do you offer and provide at the end of the day? You want to take that information and create your business portfolio. It's like a resume for your business. That business portfolio, the federal government calls it a capability statement. And that basically contains your company name, your company information, your company profile, your mission statement, or something that just really hits it on the nail, that describes what it is that you do. They see it, they get it, and they're like, yeah, we need this. You want it to be just that succinct and straight to the point. You want to list your core competencies. You want to include your DUNS number. You need that DUNS number. It's important. You want to list your NAICS codes and your product service codes, those PSC codes. You also, if you have any certifications, you may want to include that on your capability statement, any socioeconomic certifications. And what sets you apart? What makes you different from the rest? And then, secondly, you may want to create a separate document that includes your past performance, current and recent projects. So that's how you create your portfolio to market to the federal government. Now we want to talk about, what does your online presence say about you? What does your online presence say about you? If someone was to Google your name, Google your company name, what comes up? You just might want to try that as an exercise. Google yourself. Google your name. Try it. I'd love to hear what you found when you Googled your name. What came up when you Googled your company name? Drop it in the comments or send me an email or post it in our Facebook group. I love to hear what came up when you did a Google search. Were you surprised? So I want you to know that it's important that when you do business for the federal government, or when you are competing and bidding for federal government business, they do research, right? They do take a look to see who you are, what you do, how you show up, etc., and so on. They're looking at your online profile. So it does matter about your online presence. Those personal things you may want to keep private and personal. And as it relates to your company, represent your company well. They're basically just looking to see that you are who you say you are. You offer what you say you offer in black and white. They want to see it on the www. The World Wide Web. So, how do you identify the needs of the market? Simple research. The federal government is pretty transparent about what information they put out there. They actually put quite a bit of information out there and make it available to us. So you do research, you focus your search, and you look at what agencies buy the most of your product. You look at the locations that you want to target. You also look at what prime contractor should you target. And you want to look at when was the contract awarded. That will give you an idea of how much time is left in that contract and how much of that budget could potentially be left for you to get a piece of the pie. So those are some of the key things you want to look at when you are trying to identify the needs of the market. Now, as I said earlier, the federal government puts a lot of information out there. They really put the budget out there. They put insights on forecasted bids and contracts, forecasted needs, and they also put out their strategic plan. So it's important that, when we want to get ahead of the game, look at the strategic plan for the agency that you want to do business with. Look at those forecasted contracts that may be coming down the pike. And also look at the budget approved by Congress. The budgets approved by Congress provide a lot of information. It actually gives you insight on what they plan to spend the money on a year in advance. And guess what? That gives you time to position yourself to win that contract, to also team and partner up with other companies that could add value to you winning that contract, make you more competitive. You also want to target government agencies that may need what your business sells, right? So when we think about contracting opportunities, there's prime contracting opportunities. Basically, you hold the contract, and there's subcontracting opportunities where a larger company holds the contract and you get to work a piece of that contract and be compensated for it. So your agreement is with that primary contractor, and the primary contractor is with the federal government. So when we think about those federal government agencies that you go out to do business with, that you research and get an understanding of their mission, there are 10 agencies that spend big bucks with small businesses. 10 agencies. Those 10 agencies, they do the most business with small business owners. You want to know what they are? I'll tell you. The first one is Department of Agriculture. You can visit them at www.usda.gov. That's Department of Agriculture. Google Department of Agriculture. They are available federally, nationwide, and also in the individual states. Department of Agriculture is a federal government agency headquartered in Washington, D.C., and they spend some of the big bucks with small businesses. Then there's NASA. There's NASA, Space Administration, NASA, nasa.gov. Check them out. They do big business with small business owners. Then there's General Service Administration, GSA. Check them out, gsa.gov. Department of Defense, we know military, first thing comes to mind, but they do much more. Check out DOD. That's www.dod.gov, Department of Defense. There's also Department of Energy. That's DOE. They are highly enforcing diversity inclusion in their contracts. So you want to check out DOE, Department of Energy, departmentofergy.gov. There's also Department of Veteran Affairs, www.va.gov. Check out Veteran Affairs. These are agencies that spend big bucks with small business owners. Department of Education. We know who they are. We have all had a touch of Department of Education, our children, and our children's children will as well. Check out Department of Education. That's www.ed.gov. Then there's Department of Health and Human Services. Everyone should know who they are by now. If you didn't know, now you know, thanks to COVID, right? They've been very key in this COVID pandemic. Health and Human Services, that's www.hhs.gov. Look them up. You want to go to all of these websites. You want to read about their missions, what they offer, what they do, and how that fits into the scope of what it is that your company brings to the table. The last two, Department of Interior, that's interior.gov. And finally, Department of Justice, DOJ. All of these agencies touch our community. All of these agencies play a role in our communities. So you want to understand their mission and how your business can do business with them, how your business can get into these agencies and drive change from within. Check out the top 10 agencies that spend big bucks with small businesses. I always say that it's your starting place. Check them out. So, now that we've talked about the methods of marketing to the federal government, how you show up online, we've also talked about your business infrastructure, resources that are available. Let's talk a little bit about benefits of certifications. We talked about your capability statement, your business portfolio. Well, just like you get a college degree, you get a certification, you can get a certification for your business. This is important. You want to get certifications for your business because it gives you value and benefits. Some of those benefits include networking and strategic partnership opportunities. Yes, you get access and you get into the circle and you get opportunities by connecting with other business owners. This is how we leverage relationships. You also get access to free training and educational opportunities, as well as access to bid opportunities. And your company information will be added to the vendor database. In addition to that, you can demonstrate your value in a way and get experience early on as a subcontractor. So it's important to look at those opportunities to get your business certified. The federal government increased the amount of spending dollars available for small businesses, and small businesses now receive 26.5% of all federal government contract dollars. I think that's pretty good. So good, it equates to $132.9 billion. Yeah, small business federal spending equates to $132.9 billion. Do you think you can get a slice of that pie as a federal government contractor? primary or sub? I think you can too. Yeah. So when we think about the types of certification, there's multiple types of certifications. There's federal government certifications, there's state level certifications, and there's local level certifications. So let's talk a little bit about the federal government certifications. There's a certification called an 8A certification. That category of certifications, the federal government spends $51.6 billion for 8A certified small businesses, as well as small disadvantaged businesses. $51.6 billion spent with small disadvantaged businesses. There's also hub zones, historically underutilized business zone, which is also equivalent to the opportunity zones. Federal government spends $11.4 billion with hub zones. There's also the service disabled veteran owned small businesses, where the federal government spends $22 billion with those small businesses that hold that certification. And also, the VA has an amazing center that provides small business owners with the support to get this certification. It is a pretty lengthy and paperwork heavy process, but I tell you, it is well worth it. It is well worth it. It is well worth it. If you are a vet, get certified, go to the VA Small Business Center and get certified. It is well worth it because it gives you access to contracts that not others may get. You will get priority and seniority, just like those points as a federal government employee. For when you apply for jobs and things of that nature, you get like veteran preference. Same with contracts. So get your certification. And finally, there is woman owned small business and economically disadvantaged woman owned small business certifications, where the federal government spends $26 billion. $26 billion with women, right? Now, the process has recently changed, so it's important that you take a look at that process to make sure that you submit your application so that you can get certified. And in addition to that, there's private industry certifications, the minority business enterprise, there's a small disadvantaged business, and then there's the women's business enterprise. And then finally, there's the state and local government disadvantaged business enterprise and small and emerging business development. The state and local government certifications can look different depending on where you're located and how your state government has labeled or titled that certification. But you can go to your Chamber of Commerce or your state procurement office to find out what certifications are available in your local state or city or county. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about leveraging relationships and partnerships. When you think about becoming a federal government contractor, there are some people that you want to connect with, right? You want to connect with those that are procurers, you want to connect with the influencers, and you want to connect with the end users. The end users, they are your best friends. They are the ones that you will more than likely have the most interaction with. These customers are direct recipients of your services and more than likely will use what it is that you are providing to the federal government. So, end users, you want to know those end users. You want to build rapport with the end users. There's also the influencers. The influencers are those program managers, those high level decision makers. And then there's the procurers, the contracting officers and specialists. One thing about the contracting officers and specialists, for every contract that is put out there on the streets, their contact information will be available on that solicitation. You have access and free reign to reach out to them to ask questions and get your questions answered if you are considering or preparing to bid on a contract. You want to do that. They would love to hear from you, trust and believe me. So reach out to them, introduce yourself, introduce your company, and ask questions. Ask questions and get more information. And also let them know that, hey, you are ready to work. You have this capability, you have this level of capacity, and you would love to be in on, those information sessions that they host about different contracts. So, also, how to get in front of customers. You want to introduce yourself and your business. You want to hire experienced government marketing executives, and you want to network. Introduce yourself online in virtual meetings and virtual sessions. Introduce yourself on LinkedIn. Search those titles that I spoke about: contract officer, program manager, procurers. Search those different titles, and if they are in the federal government agency that you want to do business with, or if they are a part of a company that has a contract with the federal government agency, you want to reach out. You want to reach out to them. As I said earlier, the federal government is always doing forecasts and putting information out there. So you can do your research to see what the government is buying. You want to seek those opportunities, those bid opportunities, and you can go to beta.sam.gov to learn about the current opportunities, past rewards, future potential opportunities, as well as learn about who holds contracts with the federal government. You can register to get those email notifications, and you can track potential competitors. Now, when it comes to forecasting, you can learn about those opportunities that are coming down the pike by visiting Acquisition Central Agency Procurement Forecast at acquisitions.gov. That's acquisitions.gov, where you can learn and see those contracts that are coming down the pike. Addition to that, you can go to the different federal government agency sites and go to the section of their website where it says doing business with, and you can learn about how you can get registered with their small business center. Their small business specialists for all federal government agencies. So you want to know them, get connected with them as well. And then there's procurement, forecast and bid opportunities where you can learn on their individual websites as well. There's also, opportunity where you can do pricing research. You can do pricing research by visiting the e-library on gsa.gov's website. That's the e-library. It has a wealth of information where you can actually learn what contracts have been awarded and see that information. You can also go to GSA Advantage and you can check to see if your price is competitive. There's both current GSA contractors as well as prospective contractors on that site. So those are some areas where you can go and you can do some pricing research. Now, I want to again thank you so much for your time and your commitment to investing in yourself to learn more about how to do business with federal government. The federal government is a sure way to grow and scale your company. If you are at a place where you have been doing business on a corporate level, on a B2B level, and you are ready to scale up, you're ready to go higher, you're ready to do more, well, federal government contracting is the place to be. Federal government contracting is what you want to explore and position your company to procure those contracts. And again, I'm Erin Porche here at Global Works Consulting Group. We are committed to helping small business owners access, win, and maintain federal government contracts. We provide support with registrations, with business certifications. We do market research and positioning. We help you create your assets and portfolio to become a subcontractor. We also do bid matching and bid proposal preparation and submitting. We provide a suite of support and services, and we often have workshops and boot camps like this one where you can learn about how to do business with the federal government. So, with that, we invite you to connect with us. You can visit my website, erinporche.gov, and there you can learn about our roadmap to federal government contracts, our action planning and execution workshop, where we literally take you through the steps of how to get your business in order to do business with the federal government. And we will show you what to do, where to do it, and how to do it. That is our roadmap to federal government contracts workshop. We do that every other month, and soon we'll be doing it quarterly. In addition to that, we have an accelerator. An accelerator, if you know that, hey, I am ready to launch into federal government contracting, I want to become a subcontractor tomorrow. Help me create all of my assets and get my business in order. And I want to do this. I'm ready to do this. It's an application only program, and we welcome you to register. We welcome you to apply. So again, visit erinporche.com and learn about how you can apply for our accelerator. We love to have you. And for those business owners who just know that you currently are running your business, you are ready to add it to your business portfolio, and you want somebody to help do the research, set things up, set up your entire federal government department. We provide VIP services and solutions and also implementation solutions. So, everything from doing the market research to helping you to procure that contract, building out your team, and delivering on that contract, maintaining that contract, and staying in compliance for that contract. We'd love to support you wherever you are in your journey to federal government contracting. So reach out to us. That's erinporche.com. We are available to you. We are committed to this work, and we have the expertise to support you wherever you are. So again, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you for attending our contracts and business federal government contracting boot camp. Yay, you did it. You did it. You did it. Get connected. Join us in our free Facebook group where there are other business owners just like yourself on a journey to procure federal government contracts where you all can network and connect and grow together, right? I get excited about this stuff. So yeah, make sure that you all get connected, stay connected, keep the momentum going, and take immediate action. Here at Global Works Consulting Group, we are results driven. We're results driven, and we make sure that things happen, right? So we want to support you in your journey. So again, thank you so much for attending our boot camp. For any questions, reach out to us, email us at contracts@erinporche.com. That's contracts@erinporche.com. We love to hear from you. See you all on social media, in the Facebook group, in our workshop, in our accelerator, or in our VIP program. We'd love to serve you and support you in your journey. See you all soon. I'm Erin Porche, and it has been great spending time with you. Take care. See you later.